Okay, we're all doing. Got everybody back. Right, just to recap, this afternoon we're getting factors, which essentially is the position when we can't produce as much as we would like to because we're short of one or other things that we need to make our sales. Then we're going to go through variance analysis, which is a bit more detail about how you analyse the difference between what you thought was going to happen and what actually happened. And then I really want to spend half an hour looking at the assignment. So that would be good. So we need to be there. If we're going to be away for 5, that means we need to be at that bit for 4:30. So let's get on with it. Right, limiting factors. I want to just touch by way of a starter on one or two other things, particularly about contribution and about break-even. And that will be an introduction to what I call limiting factors. So, let's scoot through this really quick. What we're saying here is, how do we maximize profit? And what we're talking about really here is the focus on what I've called contribution. Now, have you come across the phrase contribution towards overheads? I'm not getting many nods from that, but basically what we're doing is we're looking at variable costs rather than fixed costs. And what we're saying is if fixed costs are, as the name implies, not going to change in the period, we maximize our profit and variable costs. The contribution then is the difference, it's the sum of the contribution per unit, the contribution being the difference between the variable cost and the sales volume. So suppose we sell something for 10 and it costs us 7 to make it, variable cost, then we've got a difference of 3. And obviously we maximize, we work out the contribution by taking that 3 and multiplying up by the total number of sales that we have made. That was so. Let's just do a quick example. What we're trying to do here is work out the point at which we maximise total contribution. Can you all read that all right? What we're saying is that the cost of a particular unit is £12. And then what we're told by marketing is that the demand depends on the price, which is fair enough. So if you put the price up, you expect to sell fewer. And then we're saying to ourselves, right, how do we maximize overall contribution? And what we're told by marketing is for every 50 pence we put the sales price up, we lose 500 units of sales. Right, so what we're doing, as a quick recap on maximization of total contribution, is working out what price maximizes that profit. So let's just see how it works. Remember the figures, we've got £20, 10,000, 500 reduction for every 50 pence increase, and a variable cost of £12 per unit. So, that top line then, unit price of 20, that 8 is the difference between what we get for the unit and the variable costs of making it. Right, so that's 8. If we're making 10,000, the total contribution consequently is quite simply 10,000 units, £8 contribution for each one, £80,000. Okay? One or two pounds. It's easy really. If, on the other hand, we were to reduce the price to £19.50, what that means is we only make £7.50. Now we sell more, but by multiplying across, the contribution actually falls. So all we're trying to say in this particular example is at what price we maximise contribution. The answer to that is at £21, where we make £9 on each unit, got 9,000 of sales, so we maximise at 81,000. You can see if we push the price up still further, but the increased contribution we get is offset by the reduction in volume. Okay? So the only point of this is to work out that total contribution is maximised when we have a unit contribution times unit sales, which produces that maximum total. If that's not absolutely clear, when we've got the slides, I suggest you just have a quick look at that again by way of revision. That was total contribution. The other thing was break even. Suppose we have got sales of 20, sales price of 20, I mean, and variable costs of 10, and fixed costs of £29,000. Now, what we're saying is we can sell up to 9,000, but how many do we have to sell in order to break even? And it's pretty obvious because the sums are nice and easy here. We are making contribution, we're breaking even when the total contribution equals the fixed costs. So to sell 2,000 units and make £10 on each one, the total contribution would be £29,000. Because fixed costs are £29,000, we break even. Okay, I think, look, the next slide will prove it. They might have done. Good. So what we're saying here, £20, variable cost of 10, so we're making a contribution of 10. The fixed cost of £29,000. So in order to cover those and to break even, we need to sell 2,900. Breaking. Now, suppose going backwards. Suppose things change. So we get new production methods. What that now means is that variable costs have been reduced to £9 per unit. We can now sell 9,750 maximum at a selling price of £21. But how many do we now need in the new situation? So then is that we break even when our contribution to overheads is the same as those fixed costs, fixed overheads. I may be slightly labouring this point because it's really quite obvious when you think about it. But that's just a bit of an introduction, really, to what I'm going to talk about for the rest of the session, which is on the limiting factors. Now, most of the time, we happily assume away any problems about lack of resources. But suppose we're in a position where we don't actually have sufficient materials or sufficient labour to make as much as we want to. So in those circumstances, we'd have unfulfilled sales demand because we can't make enough for whatever reason. The question then is, what product mix do we need to produce in order to make the best use of those resources that we do have? Okay? And as that bottom bullet point says, the particular resource that limits our ability to meet sales demand is called the limiting factor. And as I say, it could be materials, it could be people, skilled staff, anything of that sort. So unsurprisingly, what is to work out, first of all, which the limiting factor is. We're not already clear about that. Work out how we can make the best use of it. I have some official terminology. This is one of those definitions you have to read 3 times before it makes any sense at all. Anything which limits the activity of an entity, we need to optimize the benefit from that limiting factor, and examples shortage of supply of a resource or a restriction on sales demand at a particular price. I think that last bit's quite confusing. Let's focus in on the situation where we haven't got enough of whatever because price. So realization in the longer, it's actually the ability of the fact that the market doesn't want as much as you could produce. So the normal constraint is actually sales. Focus on mostly for the rest of the session though, it's all those other things. Now the question is, so it may be that, especially when we've got more than one product, that we need to look at the total contribution that is generated by the limited resource in each of those particular products. I think that's probably something which will become clearer when we actually get to do an example. So let's choose a very straightforward one. Right. We have two products, the TT and the RS, and that's the cost structure in each one. So you will cleverly have noticed that direct labour of £3 per hour, the TT takes 2 hours, but the RS only 1. Okay? Now try and remember those numbers. We'll put some more to this. So suppose we've got a sales price of 14 for the TT and 11 for the RS. Suppose also that direct labour is up to 3,000 and 5,000 hours. The question is, how do we maximise our profit? Assuming we'll have complications about stock and what have you. Okay? So we've got two factors here. We've got labour, and we've got materials. So which one is limiting us? So let's have a look. We can sell, if you remember, up to 5,000 RSs and 3,000 TTs. Let's go to the labour side. We try to produce everything the market demanded. We need 6,000 hours, because you remember it was 2 hours per unit. And we also need 5,000 hours to maximise the RSs that the market is looking for. So the total amount of labour that we need would be 11,000 hours, but we only have 8,000 hours. Perhaps because we need skilled staff, and we can only recruit so many. And so we have a shortfall. And consequently, what we've proven here is that it's labour in this instance which is limiting our ability to meet the entire market demand. Is that all clear? Or shall I just do it quickly again? We'll do it one more time. We're proving, in effect, that labour is the limiting resource. There are two products, and the key point is that TTs need 2 hours of labour. RS is only 1. We're told that sales could be up to 3,000 TTs and 5,000 RSs, but available direct labour is limited to 8,000. Okay, so now we've said, step 1, what is the limiting factor? Proven that we're looking at the contribution per unit of the limiting factor. In this case, because labour hours worked. So we know from what we've just been saying about contribution that TTs generate £6 per unit and RSs only 4. So you might think, well, that's easy then. Let's make as many TTs as possible because they get 6 or from RSs. But look at the next line. Labour hours per unit is 2 hours. TTs. It's only 1 for RSs. So the contribution per labour hour, which is a limited resource, is £3. But on RSs, it's £4. So what we are therefore saying, as it says at that bottom line, as labour is in short supply, it's more profitable to make RSs than TTs. How clear was that? So what we're doing, 2 steps basically. What are we short of? And once we've identified what it is we're short of, labour in this case, for each unit of that scarce resource, how much contribution are we making? Yep. In this case, it's £3 for TTs, but £4 for RSs. So, to complete it, what we do, we make all the RSs that is required by the market, and then only once we've satisfied the entire demand for that, do we devote the remaining labour hours to making TTs. And that then looks like that. Okay. Great messages, that just completes the set. Just about this too much. So what does that mean? We actually make a contribution per hour of £4. The RS is 20,000. We're devoting the balance of our resource to TTs. We make 9,000 on that. And the total profit for what it's worth